Throughout history, those who understood human nature have held power over those who did not. One of the greatest psychological tools ever used is reverse psychology, a technique that influences people by leading them to believe they are making their own choices. This isn't a modern concept. The ancient Stoics understood this principle over 2,000 years ago. They weren't just philosophers, they were emperors, generals, and advisors who mastered the art of influence while maintaining complete control over themselves. The Stoics taught that persuasion isn't about force, it's about understanding how the human mind works. Their timeless wisdom reveals the hidden psychology of influence and control. If you truly grasp these principles, you will never look at human behavior the same way again. Let's explore 20 powerful Stoic lessons that reveal the secrets of reverse psychology and influence. 1. People resist control, so stop trying to control them. The human mind values autonomy above all else. When you try to control someone, their instinct is to resist. The Stoics understood that true influence comes not from commands, but from allowing others to feel in control. By guiding rather than dictating, you create a sense of ownership in their decisions. This principle is rooted in the Stoic belief that everyone seeks freedom. When you give people the illusion of choice, they are more likely to align with your intentions without feeling coerced. 2. Actions carry more power than words. The Stoics believed that words are fleeting, but actions leave a lasting impression. People are more likely to be influenced by what they see than by what they hear. Instead of trying to convince others with arguments, demonstrate the behavior or outcome you want them to adopt. Your actions will speak louder than any words. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, led by example. He didn't just preach virtue, he lived it. His actions inspired loyalty and respect, proving that influence is earned through consistency and integrity. 3. The illusion of choice is more effective than force. People want to believe their decisions are their own. The Stoics knew that presenting options, rather than imposing a single path, creates a sense of agency. By offering choices, you guide others toward a desired outcome without triggering resistance. This tactic is particularly effective in leadership and parenting. When people feel they have a say, they are more committed to the outcome even if the options were carefully curated. 4. Use silence speaks louder than arguments. Silence is one of the most powerful tools in conversation. When someone expects a reaction and receives none, they are forced to reflect. The Stoics taught that silence can disarm conflict and create space for others to reconsider their stance. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, often used silence to teach his students. By withholding immediate responses, he encouraged them to think deeply and arrive at their own conclusions. 5. Forbidden becomes desirable. Human nature is predictable. We desire what is denied to us. The Stoics recognized that restrictions often create temptation. By framing something as exclusive or not for everyone, you can spark curiosity and desire in others. This principle is evident in marketing and storytelling. When something is presented as rare or inaccessible, it becomes irresistible. The Stoics understood this psychological quirk and used it to guide behavior subtly. 6. Mastering emotions neutralizes manipulation. The Stoics believed that emotional reactions make you vulnerable to manipulation. By remaining calm and composed, you retain control over any situation. When you respond with reason instead of emotion, you disarm those who seek to influence you through provocation. Seneca, a Stoic advisor to Emperor Nero, often faced intense political pressure. His ability to remain calm in the face of chaos allowed him to navigate treacherous situations with wisdom and grace. 7. Complaints can be redirected with agreement. When people complain, they often expect validation or resistance. The Stoics understood that excessive agreement can disrupt their narrative. By agreeing in a way that shifts perspective, you force them to reconsider their position. For example, if someone says, "This job is terrible," responding with, "Yes, it's shocking. They pay us for this?" can make them question their own negativity. This tactic subtly redirects their focus without confrontation. 8. The power of letting people argue against themselves. People resist being told they are wrong. Instead of contradicting them, the Stoics advised allowing others to challenge their own thoughts. By asking reflective questions, you guide them to see inconsistencies in their reasoning without direct confrontation. This approach fosters self-awareness and growth. It's a gentle way to influence others while respecting their autonomy. 9. The less you push, the more they move. The Stoics knew that people naturally push back when they feel pressured. By stepping back and allowing others to come forward on their own, you create a sense of autonomy that encourages action. Influence is most effective when it feels effortless. This principle is especially useful in relationships and negotiations. When you stop pushing, others often feel compelled to take the initiative. 10. Fear of missing out, FOMO, is a powerful motivator. While the Stoics practiced detachment, they understood that most people are driven by the fear of missing out. By framing opportunities as exclusive or optional, you can tap into this innate desire and influence decisions without direct persuasion. This tactic is widely used in marketing and social dynamics. When something feels scarce or time-sensitive, people are more likely to act. 11. Staying calm is the ultimate power. Move composure is a hallmark of Stoic philosophy. When others lose control, you gain power by remaining calm. By refusing to react emotionally, you remove the leverage others seek to have over you. This principle is crucial in conflicts and high-pressure situations. Your calmness becomes a mirror, reflecting the chaos around you and exposing its futility. 12. Time proves more than arguments ever will. The Stoics believed that truth reveals itself over time. Instead of forcing others to see your perspective, allow their own experiences to teach them. Patience and trust in the natural course of events can be more persuasive than any argument. This approach requires humility and confidence. It's about trusting the process and letting go of the need for immediate validation. 13. Agreeing in a way that disarms conflict. Resistance fuels conflict, but agreement can disarm it. The Stoics taught that by agreeing in a way that shifts perspective, you collapse the foundation of an argument. This approach leaves others with nothing to push against, effectively neutralizing tension. For example, if someone says, "You always think you're right," responding with, "You might be right about that," disarms their criticism and shifts the dynamic. 14. The power of detachment in influence. The Stoics practiced detachment not as a form of indifference, but as a way to maintain clarity and control. By not being overly attached to outcomes, they could influence situations without becoming emotionally invested. This detachment allowed them to remain objective and make decisions based on reason rather than impulse. For example, Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that external events were beyond his control, but his reactions were within his power. This mindset enabled him to lead effectively, even in times of crisis. 15. The role of empathy in persuasion. While the Stoics emphasized reason, they also understood the importance of empathy. By putting themselves in others' shoes, they could tailor their approach to resonate with different perspectives. This empathetic understanding made their influence more genuine and less manipulative. Seneca, in his letters, often addressed the concerns and emotions of his readers before offering advice. This approach made his teachings more relatable and impactful. 16. The art of subtle suggestion. The Stoics mastered the art of subtle suggestion. Instead of imposing their views, they planted ideas in a way that allowed others to feel they had discovered them on their own. This technique is particularly effective in mentoring and coaching. For instance, instead of telling someone you need to be more disciplined, a Stoic might say, "I've noticed that people who maintain a routine often achieve their goals more consistently." This subtle shift encourages reflection without triggering resistance. 17. The importance of timing. Timing is crucial in influence. The Stoics understood that people are more receptive to advice at certain moments. By waiting for the right time to speak or act, they maximize the impact of their words and actions. Epictetus often advised his students to observe the mood and readiness of others before offering guidance. This patience ensured that their lessons were heard and internalized. 18. The power of consistency. Consistency builds trust and credibility. The Stoics believed that aligning your words and actions over time creates a powerful influence. People are more likely to follow those who demonstrate reliability and integrity. Marcus Aurelius's daily practice of journaling and self-reflection was a testament to his commitment to consistency. This habit not only strengthened his character, but also inspired those around him. 19. The role of humility in leadership. The Stoics valued humility as a key trait of effective leaders. By acknowledging their limitations and mistakes, they fostered an environment of trust and openness. This humility made their influence more authentic and enduring. Seneca often admitted his own struggles and imperfections in his writings, making his advice more relatable and trustworthy. 20. The ultimate goal, inner freedom. The Stoics' ultimate goal was inner freedom. Freedom from external control and emotional turmoil. By mastering themselves, they could influence others without being swayed by external pressures. This inner freedom allowed them to navigate complex social dynamics with grace and wisdom. It's a reminder that true influence begins with self-mastery. Final thoughts: reverse psychology, as understood by the Stoics, is not about manipulation or deception. It's about aligning with human nature and working with it, rather than against it. The Stoics mastered this art not to control others, but to navigate life with wisdom, self-mastery, and grace. True power lies in understanding how people think and feel. Influence is strongest when it is invisible, and control is most effective when it feels like freedom. The greatest Stoics shaped history not by demanding obedience, but by guiding perception. Now it's your turn. Have you ever used reverse psychology in your life, or has someone used it on you? Share your experiences and stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear how these principles have played out in your own life. If you found these Stoic lessons on reverse psychology valuable, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more insights on Stoicism, personal growth, and mastering the art of influence. Thank you for watching. If you found value in this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Stay strong, stay stoic,